And it's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's check in with this charming lass. You know, she doesn't have to declare her politics. You know precisely how she votes.
I can help you talk to somebody.
He didn't use his turn signal!
Man, can I please call you an ambulance?
I do hope that is satire, but I think it's just another example of a lefty losing it. Now to the worst vice president we've had. Here is Kamala Harris being Kamala Harris.
And I was just telling somebody recently who didn't know, we performed Free to Be You and Me. When I sang about my friend William, who was 5 years old and wanted a doll to hug and hold, I could sing the whole thing.
I think you should sing some now.
She always seems a little over-refreshed, and we should know today is a special day. It's the anniversary of this great speech. The iconic coconut tree speech was shared by Kamala with the world. It was a gift, really, 2 years ago. How time flies when you're unburdened by what has been.
My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
Now, this is a delicious little clash. Here is Candace Owens owning Jason Lee.
Let's not conflate it with being black. Otherwise, you'd have to defend Rachel Dolezal.
Well, there's no. Well,
would you defend it?
Well, there's no defending crazy. That's crazy. But
why is that crazy?
Hold on. Because she was a white woman that says she was black.
Yeah, that's a man saying he's a woman.
But let's back up.
If you're gonna say that a man can just be a woman, why can't Rachel Dolezal just be black? You got to be consistent.
Because she's white.
Okay, because it's a man.
No, but hold on. I get it.
You know I'm right.
I get
you know
it.
I'm right.
No, I don't agree. And this is not a matter of right or wrong.
But it is.
Hold on.
This one is.
Let me tell you.
Why isn't Rachel Dolezal black?
Because she's a white woman.
Okay, because it's a male or it's a female.
You know.
Now to some Aussie lefty losing it action involving some loony left versus loony left hate and hyperbole. Yes, the feral left is turning on each other with Clementine Ford, who has in the past posted racial abuse about me and misogynistic abuse about other female conservatives. Kind of weird for a supposed women's rights campaigner, wouldn't you think? Well, she's now turned her attention on fellow far-left feminist simpleton Abbie Chatfield, who, when not promoting butt plugs, is slamming anything to the right of Joseph Stalin. Remember her very sane, very measured reaction when Donald Trump won in a landslide?
If you're a woman in Australia and you think the US election doesn't affect us, just know they now have permission to be outwardly sexist and support a rapist. Just know that. In your heart, know that they now have permission. They now think they are the majority, and they're so uneducated that they think that because they're the majority, they are right. They now have permission to be racist, transphobic. They have permission to laugh about our reproductive health and our reproductive freedom.
Well, if you can believe it, she's more unhinged now than back then, because her fellow leftist feminist, Mad Greenie, Clementine Ford, has criticised her for being shallow and profiting from the performance of being politically engaged and presenting herself as a voice of feminist and political authority. That's a direct quote. Strong words, and that had Abbie in an almighty meltdown. This is worse than when Trump won.
Stop lying about my character and my intentions. I get it enough from... Please stop dehumanizing me. Please, you can criticize my content, you can criticize my work, just I'm begging you to stop lying about my intentions and stop saying that I have a personality disorder. You don't know me. And this is so triggering. I just want her to stop.
Yes, no personality disorder there. And yes, you must not dehumanise those you disagree with, Abbie. What good advice. If only you thought of that when you said Conservative voters have no empathy and that it's a good thing that they're supposedly dying out.
We spoke to Adam Bant today on the radio show. Thank you, Adam. Loved you. Loved talking to you. And I really am thinking that, or hoping, that in the next 10 or 15 years, as people who are voting for the Liberal Party literally die out and also metaphorically die out.
Literally die out, literally and metaphorically, pretty dehumanising, I would have thought. But let's get back to this left v left inspired meltdown, because of course you're the victim, always the victim.
Also, please, when I post about Palestine, stop using that as a reason to critique me more and say that I'm performative or whatever. Please stop discouraging me from posting about Gaza. It isn't working, but you're discouraging others. And you're encouraging trolling of me. Please, I'm just trying to do what I can to help. I don't understand why she's so adamant on proving that I'm awful. I don't get it.
This pity party did not stop there. The heart of it is the accusation from Abbie Chatfield that Clementine Ford is sending her leftist trolls after her. You know, something leftists always do, but though they love to dish it out, they're not so good at taking it.
Because I'm aware now of someone spreading malicious lies about me again and again and again and again and again because she claims to know my intentions on everything. I'm scared of her. Please stop. Clementine, I am begging you to stop. You don't know me at all. You're a stranger. I deal with so much every single day.
Oh, love, you should see what a conservative woman with a platform deals with every single day, including from the likes of you and Clementine Ford and your ill-informed, hate-filled hordes of lefty losers. We don't go crying about it. I say this genuinely. If it's affecting your mental health, then turn off your phone, log off, go for a walk. Don't do this.
I deal with insults every single day. I do not need it from you because you know that when you say it, you validate it for people on the left. And you are encouraging trolling, you are risking my safety and you are f***ing my mental health. Please stop.
Yes, abuse from the left is another level, Abbie, but let's not pretend you're not doing to Clementine Ford precisely what she's done to you, and that is sending your ill-informed, biofilled fans to troll her. Now, President Donald Trump is taking on Big Pharma by signing an executive order to lower drug prices in the US.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But again, it was really the countries that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing.
And in typical Trump style, he had a hilarious anecdote explaining how much more Americans pay. Listen to this.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. Very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88, and in New York I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on?
The fat shot, I love that. Joining me now is comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein. Alex, the fat shot, that's what we've got to call Ozempic from now on. It has to be the fat shot.
No, Rita, I love that name, the fat shot. And this is a stat that I just read, and I cannot believe it. You know, America spends the most money on diets and diet fads and GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, yet Americans still have the fattest biomass of any country in the world. So it's kind of insane that we spend the most on diet but also we're the fattest country. Make that make sense, Rita.
It is crazy. And yet you've got Democrats, you've got the usual suspects in the media who are raising objections to this policy. How could you possibly be against Americans paying less for pharmaceutical drugs?
No, it's ridiculous, Rita. And our healthcare system in America is so overpriced. That's all people want. We don't want free healthcare. We don't want to become Canada, but we want drugs that we can afford because we have to take them to live. So the idea that these companies are able to price gouge, it needs to stop, and Donald Trump is putting an end to it. So God bless Donald Trump for making prescription, pills more affordable for Americans.
Now, the Trump administration is taking a small number of refugees from South Africa, and rather than being congratulated for this act of humanity, the administration is being attacked, surprisingly. Among those enraged is the activist Bishop Marianne Edgar Budd. You might remember her. She's the one who lectured President Trump over his immigration policies on his inauguration day. Well, the Gateway Pundit is reporting her church is ending its nearly 40-year partnership with the US government to resettle refugees because the Trump administration is classifying white South African Afrikaners as refugees that need protection, Alex.
No, they do need protection. I mean, what's happening in South Africa is absolutely horrible. And so just to see these people that are part of a church that are, their whole idea is charity. It's meant to help people. But because these South Africaners happen to be white, it's clear why they don't want to help them. They don't want to help white people. So it's just a form of reverse racism. And a lot of people want to say that systemic racism doesn't exist. But I hate to break it to you, it does exist in America. And in the 60s, it was done against black people. And in this modern day era, it's done against white people. And it sounds crazy, but that's really the world we live in, that these are refugees. And because they are white, we have people that are part of a church that are refusing to help them. I mean, it doesn't get more racist than that.
And there is just so much evidence of the way they are persecuted and targeted and why they're in danger in modern day South Africa. This is not some conspiracy theory. It's something that has been reported on widely. We've talked about it on this program a number of times. Now, this is a little more trivial than all that, and I can't get enough of it. This Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson story, Alex. I'm among the millions just who can't get enough of this. 24-year-old girlfriend of the legendary 73-year-old football coach. Well, she fell short in the Miss Maine beauty pageant, placing third, and she didn't look too happy about it, Alex.
Well, Rita, I love when you ask me about American football because this is a subject that I am an expert on. And Jordan Hudson, she's 24 years old. And right now, they're under a lot of scrutiny because it has been revealed that potentially Jordan Hudson actually met Bill Belichick when she was 19 years old, and that's where she first got his autograph. Of course, the CBS interview tried to ask about that. She got flustered and basically shut down the interview. Now it's also coming out that there's a famous Ring doorbell camera footage, Rita, if you've not seen it, of Bill Belichick shirtless. And supposedly, they've backtracked this, and they figured out that this Ring doorbell footage was taken at one of Jordan Hudson's properties that now she's able to afford. She has like an $8 million real estate portfolio. So all I'm saying is, Jordan Hudson is probably taking advantage of Bill Belichick. That is probably obvious. But listen, he's in his 70s. He wants to be with a young woman. I mean, there's a price he has to pay for that. But what I'm worried about, Rita, and the last thing I'll say is, I don't know if he'll ever get to coach a game at UNC because the University of North Carolina is not okay with what's happening. I think there's a good chance that he loses his job because of this.
Well, he's destroying his legacy in this. I mean, I hope he's having a good time because it's costing him plenty and more than just money. Alex Stein, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for your time.